Kerry here with HomesteadHow. Welcome to our homestead. If you are at all interested in being self-sufficient, growing your own food, or just homesteading in general, you are at the right place. Today I'm going to do a quick video. I just replaced this starter on our truck, on our F-150. And as you can see, it's all rusted. Now, if you live in, I guess what they call the Salt Belt, or the Midwest, or like we do in Wisconsin, and you have to work on your vehicles like we do in Wisconsin, everything is always corroded and rusty like this thing. This should have been a simple process. Take out 3 bolts, disconnect the wires, put the new starter on, and it took hours and hours and hours to do, all because these were so rusted, the bolts that were holding this in here. I don't have them with me, but here's another bolt just as an example. They're completely rusted out. You put the socket on and it just keeps turning and it doesn't want to turn. And what makes it more difficult is it's up inside the vehicle, way up high. You're reaching around stuff. This was crazy. You couldn't even see this. Actually, this bolt right here, you couldn't even see when I was going to change it. I had to reach my hand back here. I could just get my pinky on this part here. I had to take a socket with a 6-inch extension and just blindly figure out where that was and then twist it like this because I could only go about a quarter twist and do that for about an hour until I got that bolt off. Luckily that one wasn't rusted, but the one on the bottom was here, and this one actually has a huge ground terminal that goes onto it with a post. Took me hours to get that thing off. I could not get it off, but I have a trick and I'm going to show you a tool that you should have in your toolbox that frankly I cannot live without, and I wish I bought a long time ago. I purchased this on Amazon. First, just 2 things. I've got an example bolt here that's rounded off and rusty. And you put this on and you just turn and it just keeps turning. It can't get any grip. One tip, and this credit goes to my dad, he taught me this one, and he's probably watching this right now. Look for a 6-sided socket. So this is a 14 millimeter. Find it, and you can see it's got all the little teeth on it. Or you can find a 14 millimeter, this one happens to be a little bit smaller, but a 6-sided one. Sometimes those will grab a little bit better, especially if it's rounded off, if it can catch one of those edges where these little teeth won't necessarily catch it. That's one thing you can do. The only thing that was able to work, and worked really well, was this Extractor Socket Set. I purchased this on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. It wasn't too expensive. If you live in the Midwest, if you live on the Salt Belt, somewhere where you get a lot of rust on your vehicles, you need a set of these. These will only remove, that's why they're called extractor sets, and they have these sharp teeth in them, and when you turn to the left, they end up grabbing. So you put that on your bolt head that's all rusted and rounded off, and the teeth, you turn it just a little bit like I did there, and the teeth grip in. Now, I can't even turn that because I got this in the vise, obviously, but put the wrench on here now, and once you turn this off, the whole thing's turning right in there. And I'll tell you, the bolts that were on here were just completely rounded over. There was no other way to get them off. Couldn't get in there with a torch, or couldn't even cut them off because it was so high up and hard to reach. This was the only tool that would have worked for that job. So if you live in Wisconsin, if you live in the Midwest, if you live where you got a lot of rust and you work on your car, pick up a set of these. These things are a lifesaver for me. This is one of the more important tools in our tool set because every time I go to work on our cars, they've got rust on them and things end up getting rounded over. So it's called an Extractor Socket Set, and we'll leave a link in the description below. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.